Welcome to Townhall Talks, where we talk to state and city leaders so you can get to know what's going on in your communities better.
Today we're joined by Bella Vista Mayor John Flynn. Thank you so much for making the time to be here, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm just very happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy you're here. So Bella Vista has seen a huge amount of growth in the last decade. We all know that. Why do you think that so many people are choosing to call Bella Vista home?
Well, that's a good question. We have 7 lakes and 7 golf courses and over 100 miles of trails for biking or hiking. And so I think that's a big attraction. Also, a lot of people like the quiet, relaxed atmosphere. As Northwest Arkansas has grown, inevitably, a lot of the cities just south of us have, become a little more cityfied, a little busier. And I think people like the trees and the lakes and kind of the quiet that you get out there. So.
And as it's really Northwest Arkansas as a whole is just seeing massive growth for years, and every city's changing a lot. How do you think that Bella Vista has changed and adapted as the whole area has continued to grow?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. We're really working hard on adapting. One thing that's happened is there's been a lot of building because people want to move there, and there's only so many existing homes. And Bella Vista has actually become the last bastion of the small entrepreneur builder. In the other cities, you kind of have to do a big development, 20, 40 lots. It takes a big financial commitment. And we have a lot of smaller builders that just come in and build. It's really infill. We have 39,000 lots and 17,000 residences. So there's still a lot of empty lots. And so there's a lot of people coming in, building a house here, a house there, infill in the existing infrastructure. So the builders, really, the entrepreneurs have been filling the gap and producing new homes for people to live in. It's kind of shocked us a little, the demand. A couple of years, when I was first mayor, we built about 490 houses. Then the next year in 2024, we built 636, and then last year, 2025, we built 787, and we're about that rate right now. When I was first on council in 2015, we were building like 20 houses a year.
Wow.
So it's just gone up
Difference.
constantly the whole time.
Yeah. With all these new builds, obviously more people moving to the area, you need to keep up with the roads, the infrastructure. How would you say Bella Vista is doing that?
Yeah, that's been a big challenge. Roads have actually always been a big challenge for us. We have 550 miles of roads, and they say we have even more roads than Little Rock, more than any city. And of course, a lot of them are small roads winding in between the hills and whatnot, but it makes a big challenge for us to keep up with it. But one of the biggest things that happened is, they completed 49, which goes around the city on the west side, and then because before 71, which is really 71 business in Bentonville, but it's just 71, and that was the road, and it came right through the middle of town. So having that freeway has helped fantastically because it got all the trucks out on the, away from the main road, because there's a few stoplights in there. So if a big truck stops, they're slow getting going again. So having that freeway go around the outside helped a lot. So the other thing is all of our roads are pretty much in place. They just need to be upgraded or repaved, things like that. So we don't actually have to create new roads, but we do have to keep up the ones we have. And we've been putting more money and more effort into that last few years. So.
And speaking of Highway 71, we have studies around Highway 71 going on right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about what those entail and just how that's going?
Yeah, that's a interesting area for us. In the short term, it's been brought up the possibility of maybe just having a bike path right next to the road, just for pedestrians and bikers. And but the study that we got a grant for is kind of what we call reimagining 71. And because now it used to be the way to get to Missouri. It was the main way, right? It was like an extension of the freeway, even though it wasn't a freeway. Now that you have 49 going around the outside on the west side, that freed us up a little bit with 71. And the study they're doing is to have it be more like a parkway look, maybe slow people down just a little bit, have trees and grass and some bike paths on the side of the road, that kind of thing. Make it a little more attractive and a little less of a just commercial bypass. And the plus to it is, it comes in segments. You wouldn't have to do it all at once. You could do part of it. And really what some of the planners are looking at involves Bentonville also. They'd kind of like the pretty 571 business on the Bentonville side. So they're thinking in terms of having the whole area be, more of a parkway kind of look, and maybe more attractive. And of course, safety is always a big thought for us.
Bella Vista water and sewer aren't a part of the municipality. How does that factor into Bella Vista's growth as a town?
Yeah, that's a good question. When you're growing, of course, the water and sewer, all the infrastructure is an issue. And it's true in Bella Vista and in our surroundings, other cities in Northwest Arkansas also. Now, in our case, the water is actually owned by the POA, Property Owners Association. We only became a city in 2007, and the Property Owners Association used to run everything. So the water still is with them, and I don't think that's really a big factor. They're planning ahead for the growth, and if the city took over the water from the POA, it's not like people's rates would be lower, and it would be the same thing. We'd be running the water, and we're getting the water from Bentonville, and people wouldn't even notice a difference, really. So I think the POA is doing a fine job with the water. The sewer is a little more of a challenge. We have an outside group, which is a nonprofit, called Village Wastewater. And right now we have 3,900 locations on sewer. That's the good news. The bad news, we have about 13,000 on septic. So it's the largest city in Arkansas that's mainly on septic by far. Wow. And as we grow, that's something we have to look at. Well, right now there's a regional study, which actually the state has been involved in. There's an engineering firm called Hawkins Weir, and it's studying sewer in all of Northwest Arkansas. In fact, the area they're studying it involves 30 cities and 18 different wastewater treatment facilities. And we've had some meetings about the possibility of having sewer on a regional basis. And in fact, we had people from other parts of the country come in who've done it and tell us how it went. There's people from Des Moines, Iowa area, people from Texas, people from Colorado. So they're studying that pretty seriously, and Bella Vista is interested in being involved in that. And so that would help some, but you still have to do all the local lines and whatnot. And of course, our topography makes it a challenge also. So I envision it as something that will go more towards sewer, but it'll be a gradual thing. You're not going to just say, oh, we're going to do the whole thing next year and be done in a year. It'll be a thing that you do kind of in stages and steps. But I believe it's something that's necessary to tackle, as an infrastructure challenge. So, yeah. And it turns out the area is growing so much that a lot of the other cities, have challenges with sewer also. But ours is a little different situation because of having been developed on septic initially.
It's been a big conversation in almost like every single city in this area for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the water rates and things.
Yeah. Another big topic for a while has been the short-term rentals. They're just getting so popular. So how is Bella Vista kind of managing that rise in popularity, balancing with families and the long-term residents?
Yeah, that's a good question. Short-term rentals, or STRs as people call them, have been a big issue in some cities in Northwest Arkansas. Particularly, you hear about it, seems like a little more in Bella Vista and Fayetteville. But, it's interesting. They took a look at this on a state legislature point of view. And you don't think about it, but there's places people want to go, and there's places they don't. And a lot of places in the state, people were like, "What are you talking about? What's an Airbnb?" You know, they don't have a bunch of people wanting to be there. And of course, in our area, it's a big issue. But what we try to do in Bella Vista, because we had many people who are very passionate in favor of short-term rentals, and then we had people who are pretty passionate against it. So I was just finishing up my time on council when we were first tackling that issue. And it gave, because of that, it gave council quite a lot of angst, I guess, trying to figure out what to do. So what I've tried to do is chart kind of a middle course where we have some short-term rentals, and but on the other hand, we don't get too carried away with that and try to be mindful of people who have a concern about it.
Yeah. So biking, obviously you can't talk about Bella Vista without biking.
Yes.
The new bike lift at the Oz Trails. Talk to me about how does biking really benefit the city of Bella Vista?
Yeah, that is a good question. You know, when I started on city council, I was the mayor was in favor of biking, and I voted yes every time. I was always for it, and but I have to tell you, I did not have the vision to see how big it's become. It's another thing about Northwest Arkansas that's really surprised me. It's just unbelievable. And the buzz in Bella Vista right now because of that new bike park is unbelievable. Their grand opening's June 12th, and they had a soft opening in May. And one of the things that happened really was an eye-opener for me is they had something called the Oz Bike Park Bike Stage Race. It was over 3 days, and it was in Bella Vista and Bentonville, which is not unusual. But the people who participated in it were from 40 states and 6 different countries.
Wow.
You know, and I went to the opening party and the opening day when they were racing, helped them with the start and whatnot. But talking to people, it made me realize one of the reasons people are moving here is they come here, ride their bike, and then after the race, I saw all kinds of people around town just riding for fun, you know, to kind of see the area. Well, they might come here and really like it and say, hey, let's move here. In fact, I meet a lot of people in Bella Vista that moved to Bella Vista and in Northwest Arkansas specifically because of the biking. But one thing surprised me a little. You tend to think of it as a younger person's sport, and it certainly is in a way. One thing I really like is seeing the young kids, you know, so much. Nowadays, you're on your computer or staring at your phone. It's nice to see them outside in the weather, getting exercise, you know, and having fun. It's a neat thing. But what's interesting about it is the way people come here, see the area, and just think, hey, maybe this place I'd like to live. But what I was going to say, the one thing that surprised me is a lot of early retirees tell me they came here because of biking.
Interesting.
So they're not super old, you know, but they're a little older than you might think to be so interested in biking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing really good things for the city of Bella Vista. It's
Yeah.
very exciting to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly a big draw for people wanting to visit and people
Definitely.
wanting to live there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.